Hi, I'm Phil Aston, and this is Now Spinning Magazine. Hi, Phil Aston here from Now Spinning Magazine, and welcome to the third episode in this very special series looking at the 10 years that Cats in Space have been together. I'm joined by Greg Hart and Stevie Bacon, founding members of this fantastic band. And in this episode, we're looking at Day Trip to Narnia from 2019. Just look at that artwork. This band knows how to do album covers. I've got lots of questions about this one. This is one of my favourites, and it's probably safe to say you're one of your most ambitious albums, really. Well, it certainly was at this time, wasn't it?
100%. Yeah, it was. It was a strange time.
A strange time.
Yeah.
Take us back to how this album started to come together, the idea even, the story.
I'm trying to work this
The
one
weather
out.
was it really was.
The funny enough, the day that we actually started demoing, this album was very much Mick Wilson's we did all the demoing at Mick's place when he moved up into Dunmow. Mm-hmm. And the day we started we'd written 2 preliminary songs before that, because we're normally, when we're on a touring cycle, we're normally halfway through the next album. So it's a bit of a weird kind of ride you go on. So when we was touring the Scarecrow album, we had already got together and wrote 2 songs. We wrote a song called Twilight. Fantastic, really pleased with it. And we did the song as a one-off, and we said, oh, that's going to kick off the next album just nice. And we got talking as we did. By now, Mick was kind of like in a position where he was kind of really heavily involved more than he was before, because before it was very much a session and we were writing with demo and then he'd go off and do 10cc and we crack on. This album was very much all done in his home studio, great setup. So we spent a lot of time together, and Stevie would come up and we would then, this album evolved out of thin air. And it wasn't, we did Twilight and then we did a song called Yesterday's News. And I said, it's really weird. I said, these 2 songs can kind of almost dovetail and can tell a story. And we concocted this story that we dubbed the kitchen sink drama.
Right.
And it was a black and white 50s thing where the man goes, I'll meet you at the clock tower at 12 and we'll go on the train and off we go, and something happens and something goes astray, the letter goes missing and the woman doesn't turn up. He thinks she didn't want to. And this love kind of typical kitchen sink drama, Ealing kind of comedy type
Ealing
thing.
comedy, yeah.
And that was probably the worst cup of tea and chat we ever had, because the next thing you know, we're doing a full-blown concept that was going to be called the kitchen sink drama. And we went to do a 3rd song, and the story said, well, why don't we do this? Why don't we kind of bring it back a bit and say how these 2 did meet type of thing? And we thought, well, what are we going to call it? And we need a kicker. So we had a break and come back, and he went, why don't we make it about like a spaceman, someone that wants to grow up to become a spaceman? They go off to space and there's a sinister tale about man never landing on the moon and stuff, and I like a bit of that. And he said, I don't know, it's kind of like, the kid was at school getting teased because they all called him Johnny Rocket or something. And I went, whoa, what was that? Johnny Rocket. I went, mate, I'm all over that. Johnny Rocket, here goes Johnny Rocket with his head up his ass.
Yeah.
I thought, and that was it. That was the catalyst. So next thing you know, we're buried. So the day he came back from his tour and we'd finished touring and we started what was going to become the album, it snowed on the way up to his house. And I said, Day Trip to Narnia. Or something like that, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And so Day Trip to Narnia. I said, what's that all about? I said, well, when you go off and do your tours, we go off and do our tours, you go into like a different world. It's like you go behind the door and you go into a world that people come along and view you, as Francis Rossi told us on the tour, don't go beyond the curtain. Yeah. Don't go beyond the curtain because you'll find out all the levers and pulleys.
Wizard of Oz.
The Wizard of Oz, that's it. And do you remember that time when you was on stage? We got to say it's about Francis Rossi. It's really funny because that was while we was doing the early stages of it. Do that thing about when you were standing on stage and he comes out and asks what you're doing.
I remember...
Because Francis didn't like him because he was too good looking.
Dean and I we went to grab a coffee from catering, and I'm walking back down the corridor and Dino said, did you see? You said hello to Francis, didn't you? I said, what? He said, Francis was sitting there reading a paper, drinking a coffee. I said, oh my God, schoolboy error. I need to go back and grab a biscuit and look round and go, oh, Francis, hello, mate. Stevie, drummer from Cats in Space. Which I did.
Yeah.
And he fell for it and he shook my hand, only to tell me what a load of crap the ticket sales were. It was he was quite down. And I thought, oh, you're a bit... Oh, I thought you'd be all chirpy and excited and, but he was just down. Obviously, he'd lost Rick as well a while ago. Hence, that's why we were there. We were brought on to rock it up because they were rocking it up.
It was going to be an acoustic tour originally. Yeah. They'd change it to electric.
So, anyway, so I'll leave you there. I'll leave you to it. Nice to meet you. Off I went. Only to do a classic Spinal Tap corridor job where I'm lost now. I mean, we were at Manchester Apollo, I'm sure. It's one of those. Yeah. It's all a rabbit one behind. Yeah. And I bumped into Francis with his coffee, walking. I said, oh, Francis, you don't know where the dressing rooms are, do you? He said, no. And I stopped and said, righto, no worries, man. I thought, this is how it's going to be. Yeah. So I respect you and I'll let you.
Yeah.
Anyway, and then he turned around and said, it's that way, mate. I said, oh, thanks. Disappeared.
Yeah.
Done. Anyway, I've got to the dressing room, got into the stage, and I could see him out of corner of my eye, and I'm looking up at the lights, working out where everything's going. And I just thought, shall I or shan't I? Yeah. So I did. So I stood there looking up at the lights, and I put my arms out like that, as if I was kind of basking in light.
Yeah.
And he looked up at me and he said something along the lines of, what do you think? Oh, the effing Messiah or something? I said, no, Francis, just topping up my tan. And that was it. Anyway, shook my hand and I thought, that's the Francis I wanted to. And from that second on,
it's fine.
He was like a big brother to all of us. He was such a lovely man.
He never had his guitar off. Always run around with his guitar on, playing the whole time.
Yeah,
it's brilliant.
These two jamming. Crossroads.
Coronation Street.
Coronation Street.
Because I went up to him, I said, never mind all this rock and roll nonsense. I said, it's all about Coronation Street. He said, you watch it? I went, mate, I've been watching it all my life. I'm a massive Corrie fan. Shoot me if you like. Yeah. And he went, I said, I know. I said, come on, I know you was on it. And I said, it's brilliant. And we started talking about when Quo were on Corrie, Les Battersby and Ratlock, And while he was talking, he's going, I went, whoa, show me these chords. He went, I said, teach me how to play Coronation Street, how you're doing that. So he's teaching me. This is like rock and roll, Quo, Cats in Space.
On the green
telly. Not interested, mate, Coronation Street. And we're doing it on the green Telecaster. Amazing. And he was watching out, there's a cheeky chord there. What's the cheeky one again? And then he said, how's it going your side? Are you all right? I said, I'm on hallowed turf, mate. I said, I know this is where Rick went. He said, are you all right? Did Lloyd tell you to put your guitars in the rack? He went, yeah, he did. He went, brilliant. It's Rick's rack. So my guitars are lined up in the... Wow. Rather than bring all our racks in and make more mess on stage, he let me put my guitars in where Rick would put his guitars. I'm like, my guitars are in Rick Parfitt's sacred area, and it was a bizarre moment, but he was so cool. But it was just like, never mind with rock and roll nonsense. Let's talk Corrie, And he just thought we were super cool. He went, you're not coming on tour with us again. He said, why is that? He goes, too good. Too good. He said, you do harmonies and all your lovely vocal. Oh, no, not having that,
No, he's a great guy, but I have interviewed him and he's very funny, isn't he?
Fantastic. So, that was going on as we were planning the early stages of Narnia.
No, brilliant. Now, you mentioned Johnny Rocket as a concept, but Stevie, what did you think about this concept when Greg told you about it? Got this idea, we're going to call it Johnny Rocket.
Well, the story itself was one of those that I thought, well, we could seriously embellish this, because it was just an outline, wasn't it, at first?
Yeah, it was
and then
loose label, 3
eventually
songs.
it just built into an actual narrative that's somewhere on our website somewhere, so you can actually download that and have it with said
The
album.
narrative, yeah.
And it takes you through the whole story. But yeah, I think having a story that obviously each song plays a very strong part in that story. It's it's like a stage show.
But it's all
Yeah, well, like a musical,
Like a
yeah.
musical.
It's
A
very
ro-
hard to do.
A rock musical, if you will.
If you will, yeah.
but it's also another huge leap away from what you'd expect a rock band to do. Each album, again, moves away from, like, you know, when we started in episode 1 talking about, you know, asking the singer not to be too much like Dio because we're not going down the 80s metal route, AOR route, where each album leapfrogs the last one into this totally unique space, because this album has got, like, I mean, which one is it? Thunder in the Night. It's almost a disco track, isn't it? I mean, we talk about rock bands going, well, I don't know, should we put a ballad on it? This is another world.
Well,
This-
and Destination
isn't it?
Unknown, which is
Yeah.
pure Cliff Richards.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
which, you know, Mick and myself spent a lot of time on the whole of this album. So when me and him get together for too long a period of time, we can go very pop indeed, because we both I love pop, proper pop music from the 70s. So much I love, you know, your Kiss and your Lizzie and UFO and Queen. I love, you know, Gladys Knight, the Carpenters, Sherbet, Pilot, all these great pop bands that had these brilliant songs. And so we were exploring that, and I'm thinking we're moving away from even where Cats are on some of it, but by keeping it in the 27 minutes of the Johnny Rocket story, it serves its purpose, because it becomes a piece. So when you give it that kind of discipline, you're allowed to go off on tangents. And mentioning Thunder in the Night, and it stood us to this day, which I said at the time, we'd done Twilight, Fab, ELO. We'd done Yesterday's News, which is still one of my favourite Cat songs. We did a great acoustic version of that you might see. And then we did Johnny Rocket, which was proper. It was almost like Last Train to Clarksville. But done by
the Monkees.
Done by a rock band, done by Cheap Trick. And then we sat there one day and went, where are we going now? We've got to say 3 more songs. And we already said we wanted to do a vocal-led track, which was One Small Step, which sounds like the Osmonds, of sorts. But we said, let's do a disco track. I said, if we do a disco track, it's got to be like something like ELO Discovery era.
Yeah.
And you've got, I said, the rule is we've got to write in 15 minutes, lyrics and all. He said, and it's got to have the most ridiculous title. It's got to have every cliche in the book. It's got to be everything Cats in Space kind of doesn't stand for, apart from it's got to be a bit like ELO. So we start going, got the beat going. Stevie do that? Yeah, he'll be all over that. He went, she like thunder in the night. I could see her standing in the light. No,
It's like that Leo Sayer song. I can't remember. It's
Thunder in My Heart.
Yeah, it's got that kind of feel.
Yeah.
It's
so we
brilliant.
wrote this song, and he said, if it's a crap line, it's in. If it's this, it's in. So we wrote it really quickly, and Mick said, we've got to do something a little bit clever, like a Four Seasons thing on the bridge. That's beautiful Mick Wilson classic vocal bit. That.
Yeah.
So we did that, and then he said, we've got to say something about leg warmers. And we had a thing called the lyric throne. Yeah. Whoever wrote the best line of a lyric could sit in the lyric throne, which up to that point, I don't know who was sitting in it, but he came up with, do I have to beg to get you and your leg warmers out of here? I went, go into the lyric throne immediately. And it was like one of those moments you go, that's the whole song in that one line. And we did write it in 15 minutes, and it was the quickest thing we ever did. And I went, this is terrible. It's got the root third, 5 and octave harmony that is such a traditional thing to do. So it just ticked every cliche in the book. And I went, I bet you any money that song will never not be in our live set, and it will become a fan's favourite. It'll be the most downloaded song on our bloody Spotify, and that for all of our bomb blast and all of our cleverness, this song is going to be our thing, and it bloody well is. You know, it is.
Well, I'm not surprised, and obviously,
But I love it.
Yeah, and I love it as well. And of course, I think on the box set that's going to come out, is that when there's like an extended disco version, isn't there?
Oh, what's it called?
The Catio. Oh, no,
no. There's that.
Oh no, there's the
Is it the
Catosphere.
Thunder mix?
Catosphere mix.
Yeah.
It's the Catosphere because it's esoteric and.
Is that the
fabulous.
cat? Is that the?
Yeah,
It's got to be called
mix.
that, whatever.
Yeah,
It's got a long mix.
It's got a long mix, yeah.
Yeah.
Cats are involved.
It's brilliant.
Yeah.
It's really, and if you say Leo Sayer, Thunder in My Heart, that dub version they did,
Yeah.
where they just looped the hook line. We've done that on it as well. It's a good mix. It's really cool.
Yeah, I put down, I thought, unicorns, leg warmers, white queens. This is just so...
Unicorn, yeah.
Yeah, it's all in there, isn't it?
And Astrocat.
An Astrocat.
Which Johnny Rocket is holding on the cover. We had this lovely lady that knits things, knitted us Astrocat, because Astrocat took over a whole column in AOR Underground in Power Play magazine, and we actually had Astrocat aerosoling the whole thing.
Graffiti.
So
the whole middle of the...
So he just took over the whole column for this month with Astrocat. So we had him made.
And there he is.
And he's our lucky emblem. He goes everywhere with us. He comes on tour, everything.
As I said, this is a very ambitious and joyful, playful album. And I know from talking to you before, Greg, that you don't think about how we're going to translate this onto stage. Nothing holds you back. You
It's
just think,
all
no, we're going to
in
make it.
Yeah.
But
Worry about that later.
Yeah, worry about that later. But did you worry about that later with this? Because this was far more ambitious. And in a way, because you're collecting songs for your set now, this kind of almost lends itself to say, well, we've got to play all of this part. It's 27 minutes of Johnny Rocket.
That's what Andy Stewart said. He said, we've got to do the whole thing. We've got to do the whole piece. I said, well, that's after tour done.
Yeah.
But we realised that we couldn't do one small step. We just couldn't do that justice because it's all vocals and vocoders and stuff.
9 of those have gone live. 9 of those. We've played.
We have played a lot of them,
9
haven't we?
of them live.
We haven't done She Talks Too Much. No. We couldn't do that. We've done Hologram Man. Hologram Man's a staple in the live show.
Yeah.
Silver and Gold.
Narnia.
We've done Diamonds. We haven't done Unicorn.
No. Johnny Rocket.
Johnny Rocket.
Space
Twilight.
Overture.
Yeah, so we've done a lot of them. But Thunder in the Night was the one where we just racked it out as a rock band, and it just works.
Oh,
it's one of those songs
that must have been so much fun to do that.
It is.
Thunder in the Night.
Yeah, to the fun. You must have had a lot of fun making that.
For a rock drummer, it's, the whole set's quite tiring, obviously, because it's physically demanding.
Of course, yeah.
But I guarantee that if you took my heart rate on Thunder in the Night, it's 4 to the floor, solid, 134 BPM. It's just the disco vibe, and it's brutal. It's absolutely brutal. In fact, I think we were recording this down in Eastbourne.
Oh, the drums.
What did they have to do, Greg? This was the song.
Oh, this is the song where
4 to the floor, the drum.
that's a dumbing down by putting mattresses all in the studio to
Or
quieten
against
down.
the doors, the outside doors all had to have mattresses. They had to bring them in somehow.
Neighbours
quickly.
complained.
All the neighbours complained.
We didn't know where the neighbours were. This is like in a muse. And this bloke come wandering in saying, "You're going to have to turn this." It's like,
I can hear the drums in Birmingham, But this is the kit we spoke about. The non-polite kit.
Yeah.
This is it. This is its first outing.
Yeah.
It was so that's when we really went, because obviously everything was done at Mix Place. Even the guitars were done there. It was the only album we've ever done where we did a lot of it on the Kemper amp module thing, which worked great. But the drums obviously were still very much live in Echo Zoo. But it was just one of those things. I mean, Thunder in the Night, when we do it live, it's the one. It's like, yeah, I know. You've got these men at festivals with their beards and their tankards, and they're going, oh, this lot, and then you see them nodding on Thunder Night, and it's like, never thought you'd see this guy nodding to disco music. And it's great, you know.
It's what I...
He won the Swedes over recently. We said
yeah.
that's the song that we, if you don't know us, in a foreign territory, Thunder in the Night is the one that will get them.
I think your diversity in light and shade in how you put your music together and the live show, the albums, is what gives you this kind of unique key into people's hearts, really. I mean, I remember going to the Reading Festival in 1980, and all the bands were heavy metal. Wow. So it's like every band came on and told everyone to go effing crazy. And after a while, you start to go, and in the end, it was Slade that came on the Sunday, who weren't supposed to be there because Ozzy couldn't make it. And Slade did Slade and did Merry Christmas Everybody on a hot Sunday afternoon. And of course, and that was the band. And I think that Cats in Space have this same kind of appeal that you think, oh, the Cats in Space. And then the songs start to come at you, one after the other. And it doesn't matter if the next one's a pop song or it's a bit like Supertramp or 10cc, or you suddenly think, oh, this is good.
It's just diversifying, isn't it? It's like you can have... We wouldn't have done the amount of albums we'd done in the space of time we'd done them if we were just doing rock stuff. You know, well, it wouldn't appeal to me personally, but I don't think I could keep rewriting it, and I don't think Stevie could keep doing the lyrics.
There's so much to explore on this that every time I personally listen to it, it gives me something else that I didn't notice the first time around, because some of the songs aren't necessarily obvious. Like I said in an earlier episode, some of the songs go places you don't expect them to go, and so it keeps it very fresh. But were there any particular or new recording techniques you used to create this? Because, as I say, it's a very ambitious album at that time. But were you changing the way you were doing recording with this? Did you have to think
with this
differently?
album? Because Mick Wilson was very much engineering the whole thing. Yeah, because he's a brilliant engineer and he's obviously a brilliant musician. So Mick really did take the bull by the horns on this one, and he gave it his all. Said, if we're going to do this, let's do the whole thing. We spent a lot of time on this album. It was 7 months before we got round to looking at doing the vocals in Eversfield, at a friend of mine, Graham Noon's place near where I live. So we did the vocals and we did a few overdubs there, just to get out of Mick's house, to be fair, and give his wife a break, because you get cabin fever, and we definitely got cabin fever doing it, because we could just see the end result was a long way away, because it's like, it's going to be a double album. It's like, how are we going to do that? How are we going to fund it? You know, bearing in mind...
double vinyl,
At this point also, we still had the management, but it was going a little bit... We'd had to cancel a tour and a couple of things that... Not the wheels weren't coming off, but we knew that things might shake up a bit, and we ran out of money. So by the time Narnia was finished, and with all the time we spent on it, we said, if we don't do the pre-orders on this up front, we are going to run aground financially, because we'd spent it with, you know, as Danny said, you can spend money really easily, you lot. I said, I know, because we spend a long time, you know.
Because you have this vision, don't you? You're not like a little rock band thing, we'll just go and play, we'll just have a backdrop and off we go. I think inside your head, Greg, you can see something that's bigger than anything band's ever put together before.
Yeah, we've only got one go at it. Yeah, I mean, we are at the age where we can't get it wrong and go again. So we think, if we're going to do this, I don't want to look back when I'm 70 going, that was an opportunity to try and live the dream. And if we didn't do it, we're going to kick ourselves to our grave. I said, we're just going to have to have big furry balls. Sorry, I've quoted that before. and do it. So, but we knew that the Narnia project, when it got round to mixing and mastering it, was a long way off, which was financially going to absolutely wipe us out. So it had to do something, because we were doing crazy stuff. You know, I mean, some of the recording techniques, as you said, you know, like we were recording my rings clicking together to give a rhythm for She Talks Too Much. And there was all manner of things, all, you know, Chasing Diamonds, great ballad that Stevie did the lyrics for me, sat down and wrote the music. It was going to be a piano number, and the three of us sat around at Mick, said, do it on acoustic. So we worked out how to do it on acoustic and how to make the chords change, and it all takes time. that song didn't start off like that. So people don't see the dead ends that we go down. They see the finish, but those dead ends are expensive, and we did definitely get cabin fever doing Narnia. And Andy Kitson's amazing artwork. He produced more than that for this album. He was producing external, because by now we want to put inserts into the album. We want to do booklets, calendars, because it's in this climate these days, bands have to be canny how they make money. You just can't sell an album and live off of it. You've got to offer the fans more so they invest into a lifestyle of your band, if you like, And this was the first time we really looked at how we were going to do it. So when Danny said, I think you've just done the best album that you've ever done, unfortunately I can't manage you anymore because we've run out of money, me and him crestfallen in London one day going, what are we going to do? And so I said, do you fancy doing the web store? Because we had to take it back off of Townsend. I said, Stevie, do you fancy doing the shop? And we sat down and he worked a million hours working out how to open up a web store. But the downside of that was the minute we worked out how to do it, we knew how to flood it with stuff. So we just went absolutely hell for leather, didn't we? And then
very creative time.
But we didn't have any money, did we? We ran out of money.
We forgot how to be, we never forgot how to be musicians, but all of a sudden we were no longer musos, were we? We were business guys going,
the guitar and drums was 10%.
This needs to be bob on, otherwise...
But this is the...
the quality had to be there as well. Again, we've got a...
That's where your mental health starts coming into play at this point,
Yeah.
because it makes you go down some dark alleys, thinking...
So we did.
If we don't get this right, we've just done 20 grand and we're going to lose it. It's going to... And we said, how are we going to... Well, I said, all we can do is pre-order the album. We'll bring it out for Christmas because it's perfectly, in keeping with it all.
The Narnia Box really was a stroke of genius, a la Greg. Andy did the stencil that was burnt.
No, you and Zoe also had a massive input to that. Went into that Narnia box? Bloody
but we had
hell.
to really think of what we could put into that, and everyone we undersold, over-delivered, and we could have sold them for a lot more than that, but we didn't. I think we got 100 made, which back then was ambitious.
No, 150.
Then we went to the 150 because they all went. That really helped.
Your house.
Steamroll.
A house full of wooden boxes that had to be stenciled.
And Royal Mail had to actually turn up at my house with a van specifically to pick this order up, because it was, it was like £2,500 worth of postage, or maybe more. And they said, we'll send a van round.
Because we didn't know what we were selling, because Townsend had done Scarecrow, so we didn't have the nuts. Normally, the first album, we knew what we'd sold, how many pressings, because we did it.
Yeah.
Scarecrow, we had no say in it, so we didn't know that we'd grown with the quotors and this, that we were selling more units. So we just thought, we know how to do gods. No, we were selling more than that. So we undercooked it.
But it also shows you how strong and kind our audience is. They're so behind us.
Fiercely loyal.
They're so loyal. So
one of the differences, I guess, is that, in the olden days, you'd be a musician, you'd play your gig and you'd come off stage and you'd have a few beers and go back to the hotel, and then the fan club and the record company would do everything else. But now you can't do that, because you come off stage and you're either talking to the audience or you're behind the merch stall, and then you've got to go and do social media. And
wearing many hats.
As you say, and it's a lot of pressure. But one of the things that I think you guys are so good at is you've built a community around the brand that people feel attached to. They feel connected to the Cats.
It's making memories.
Making memories.
I only ever view it from how I am, because I can't do it from anybody else. I don't know how people feel, but I know how I feel. So when I was a kid and I invested in Thin Lizzy, I wanted their back catalogue. I wanted to see the tour. I wanted the scarf. I wanted the badge. I wanted as much Thin Lizzy stuff as I could get my hands on. And I'm just thinking, why can't we apply that mentality to Cats in Space? If it's quality, there's grown men in their 50s and 60s and 70s that get dewy-eyed thinking, I never thought a band would come out that would remind me of how it was when I was a 15-year-old. I went, that's the magic. That's the moment. You need people like that. There's millions of them around the world. You just got to try and scoop them up.
You got to find them all,
So when we pre-ordered pre-sold that album, we sat there on a Friday night saying it's going to go live at 6 p.m. and we're hoping to God we can recoup all the expense we'd done. And we said, historically, we should recoup in about a month, and we recouped by Sunday tea time.
Wow.
Gosh. But it's even, as I said, this one's ice. This first one was ice white.
Yeah.
It's amazing. And then obviously because of the Narnia inflection, we thought, let's do a Turkish Delight version as well. It's that sort of colour. But yeah.
Did that.
So there are two versions of these flying around, aren't there?
And Stevie built the Shopify thing that people could go and put it in their shopping cart. I was sitting there and my emails going ding, 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 ding. It was like a fruit machine going off. We thought, look at these fans. And they weren't just spending £34 on the double vinyl. They were doing 70s and 80s and 90s. On the T-shirt, on the box, on the other vinyl, on this, that and the other. And I was like, going, oh my God, this is incredible. We really thought we have really got some good fans here. Then I thought, all this stuff's got to go out in the post. Meanwhile, in the darkest depths of Southend, Stevie and his wonderful Zoe are having nightmares.
Turning into a mailroom. Yeah.
We've got to get some record mailers. We've got to get this.
We had some merch kitties too.
We had some merch kits that helped us as well, but we had a team that came in to do it.
Wow.
It was brilliant.
We couldn't have done it all on our own.
So this is an album that took a long time to pull together, lots of recording time, lots of all sorts of pressures on your, physical, mental health, finances and everything. And also it's the last album to feature Paul Manzi, isn't it?
Yes.
So that news must, with all where you were heading with this, the album's flying out.
Yeah.
And then Paul says, I'm moving on.
That was the following March, April, yeah.
I mean, was this did you see this coming? Was it a surprise? Was it?
Kind of. He was doing some work with Sweet, wasn't he? And obviously we knew Andy because he sang on Mr. Heartache, and I've jumped up on stage with Sweet a couple of times. It's all fantastic, and Andy's like one of my heroes, So there was almost like in a way, it's like if you're going to do something, then you've got to go and do the Sweet. That's the thing. Jeff was in the Sweet for 15 years, and Paul got the offer, and he said, "I'm really sorry, but after this tour, I'm going to have to jump ship." And we had planned a Christmas campaign that year because we when Narnia came out the previous Christmas, what a better way to end the touring cycle of the album with a Christmas campaign. Everybody wanted us to do it, so we said, we'll do it. And then Paul left, and it's like, damn. So we went ahead and did the Christmas campaign as My Kind of Christmas became, which was the tail end of the Narnia thing. And as why do a CD when you can do a 12-inch picture disc, double pack vinyl, single vinyl, and also a Christmas tin, because the Narnia Box works so well. We did the Christmas tin that year, and it kind of ended the era, the first era of Cats in Space, and we felt the journalists and the people that were on our side at that point all got very worried, thinking, oh man, you were just flying. How are you going to get over this? What are you going to do? So we had to regroup, but then of course we didn't know what was around the corner in 2019, did we?
I mean, what was the farewell show like at the corporation in Sheffield when you? It
nearly didn't happen because the PA didn't work.
Oh right, okay.
Oh yeah.
So the stress levels were through the blooming roof.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a tough show. But we ended it right. It was probably the only time in my career to that point where someone left a band and it wasn't fire and brimstone and threatening to torch their kids. It was like, it was all done very amicably, and we let him have his bow at the front at the end, and we waved him goodbye, and it was brilliant. And he's remained a great friend. Paul's a wonderful person, and we're all still good buddies. We all keep in touch because it was done right, and he was very honourable, and it was a perfect way to end, albeit it was sad that it had to kind of be that way, really.
How does the album fit in with your back catalogue now, to both of you? I mean, how do you view it? Is it? I mean, they're all your children, aren't they? Each album, so that's probably an unfair question. But how do you look at it now?
For me, it stands alone as its own thing.
Yeah,
It's like Time the Musical amongst. Other albums. That's how I view it. It's definitely a standalone album for me.
It's very different to anything else you've done before or since.
It's lighter. I think it's a lighter album than because I said leave me and Mick Wilson in the studio for too long and we'll become the Four Seasons. So which is fantastic, but I think we just shifted Cats in Space a little bit too far away from possibly the trajectory where it was going, because as tough as it is for a band like us to get our foot in the music world anyway, because we don't fit the boxes. No. That really doesn't fit the box. That's why it stands alone for me. But Stevie might think different. I don't know.
I mean, I love it, and I love it because the fact that each time I listen to it, it gives me something more that I didn't notice the first time I played it. Really, I think it's something. I mean, Sue has said to me when she
the Stevie Ricks.
Yeah, the artwork, everything about it. But I mean, as I've said,
it's fabulous artwork. I mean, that's Andy Kitchen's finest moment.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Well, at that point, he was about to supersede that later on. But that,
he was. Yeah,
that is a wonderful piece of work.
What's inside's unbelievable as well.
Yeah.
I sent Andy a little one of my pods with a windscreen wiper on it. I don't know why I put it. Obviously, wiping the snow away, and I thought the boys are going to balk at this. It's just is it getting too cheeso now? And I sent it to Andy, and Andy being obviously an avid race car god, he paints for all the Lewis Hamiltons and Ayrton Senna's of the world, and they all respect him immensely as a great car artist. So I just thought Andy would love doing this. Andy loves drawing
rivet counter.
Yeah, Andy loves drawing elements, weather elements into some of the spray that comes off some of his cars.
Yeah,
how he does that.
His backgrounds are phenomenal.
Yeah,
phenomenal.
So there you go. But also we've got another friend called Stevie Ricks. So if you're out there, Stevie, I'm sure you're somewhere watching this. Greg sent him a CD to say, dude, check this out. I think you might really love this. And he absolutely loved it. And said, Greg, if you want me to do one of my many characters interviews on this, who would you choose? And he said, well, obviously 70s Freddie, because we love that character that Stevie plays.
If you haven't seen him, people, he wears a very bad wig with his big teeth, all done in impeccable taste. He's a huge Queen fan, so it's not disrespectful, but it's just
genius.
Hilarious. It's
and
genius.
he does a parody on the album as if he's just heard it and it's the best thing ever. And he's in Rockfield Studios doing it.
That's right.
Incredible.
It's on YouTube. You've got to check it out.
Go and check it out.
Day Trip to Banania. He gets all the letters wrong because he hasn't got his glasses on. It's just fantastic. It's just so funny. And we use that to promo the album.
Yeah.
And we kind of think people probably weren't quite sure what to make of it all.
Yeah.
But it's like Freddie Mercury is reviewing Day Trip to Banania. It's just, that's why I say it stands alone as
it does,
its own piece.
So if you had to pick a track from this album that would be the one that you think would be to introduce someone who doesn't know Cats or this album, one track, which one would you pick?
Not one we absolutely love. I would probably go for Narnia for me. I just love the stomp kind of Slade, thundering, foot stomping.
Proper,
there's a little sort of cutaway beginning that walks you through the actual wardrobe from the snow, the crunchy footsteps, back into the room, back into the comfy chair. I'm done with the bullshit that's in Narnia through the wardrobe.
He puts a sack of money on the floor as well.
Just good to be back home. Where's my drink? Where's my JD? And boom, in it comes, and it's just goosebumps for me. But I don't know. I couldn't choose.
It's a very underplayed song now. We should review that one because it's such a great stomper. But I can't do one track because it's I look at things from a different perspective, maybe. But from a production spectacle, She Talks Too Much is so bonkers and crazy, and that I can't. I had another ring on in them days. I've lost the ring now, but
that's it.
So Mick sampled that, put it into a time code, put it down as a loop, and that became. And it became like a Sparks type, and I just love
great track.
The stupidity of the song. And people go, "Oh yeah, but them lyrics are a bit risque and not very PC in the 21st century." That's what I say to that. But for me, one of my top 3 favourite cat songs full stop is Yesterday's News.
Okay.
So is Cats in Space the most fun you've ever had as a professional musician, you two, would you say?
Yeah.
Based on what
It's the most stress.
Yeah.
I had a lot of fun in one of my other bands, but that's another story.
Another story.
But I think, yeah, I mean, the thing is with Cats is that it's achieved, or it hasn't achieved what we want it to, because we want to be much bigger than this. Of course we do, because we're not well known enough. But what we've achieved with what was a cat pod and a stupid idea in a pub in Parsons Green, by now has turned into magical boxes and Turkish Delight vinyls and outselling each album progressively. And by now we're getting #1 albums of the year in all the magazines. We're like, we've even got the press on our side. I couldn't get the press to give me lip service in the 80s. No. I couldn't even get in a column ad, which is what Unfinished Symphony was about. You know, we just made it in the ladder in a magazine. And now we got people ringing up saying, oh, do you want to do a feature in classic rock? They've got your song as track of the week, your video of the week. You're not, I'm like, what's going on here? You know, so it was brilliant. So yeah, absolutely, this has achieved all the things.
And you have Astroat. I mean, how many bands can create that? How many
it's quality.
Rock bands?
It's not for sale, by the way.
Astroat.
Most things I bring up are always for sale because you know me and money. But
everyone will want that now.
Everyone will want that now.
Of all the things that they've seen, they want to have Astroat.
I mean, we might sell these banners at the back. You never know.
Yeah, they will probably go.
That's what everyone
No,
wants.
Astroat's been on tour. He goes in my bag
Does he?
on all the tour dates. So if I gave him away, I'd play even worse than I already do, probably. So.
I've got Tabs cat here. Look, this is Tabs. It's my little
we are
friend,
grown
Tabs.
men, technically. Yeah,
technically, yeah. But rock and roll keeps you young.
Yeah,
Forever.
but that patch on the front there, that was one of your ideas, wasn't it? So why don't we
Yeah.
bring out some patches like we had in the 70s? I went,
Yeah.
how many times are we going to the well here for our fans to shell out money? But they
Oh, and one's in silver, one's gold.
one's in gold after silver and gold on the album.
So,
Obviously.
yeah.
Everything is thought out.
obviously.
I just wish we could do something where She Talks Too Much, bring out something like that, but maybe a doll or something, I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys. Thank you very much. That was a fantastic episode looking at Day Trip to Narnia.
Narnia.
Banania. Only threw me at the beginning of that one. So thank you very much, and please check out the Cats in Space website at catsinspace.co.uk. And as you've seen, lots of merch there. Not Astroat at the moment, but obviously the pressure that will come in from all these videos, who knows what they might do in the future. Yeah. But lots of different vinyl and CDs are available as well. So thank you for watching. Please check out Now Spinning magazine at nowspinning.co.uk. Remember, music is the healer and the doctor. Please keep spinning those discs, and I'll see you on the next episode. In this episode, we're going to be looking at the next album, which is, sorry, I've lost my.
Day Trip to Banania.
Yeah, that's
That's what's done it, I know,
that's what's done it.
Counting down the hours until she's sitting there by herself. When she can stop faking it and throw away the flowers, but she'll leave the cards on the shelf just for the sake of it. Bravo, she's really holding it together, biding her time. But when doors close, she knows it's not the end of the line. When the tears have all gone, our love will shine on. After I'm yesterday's news, when the years are rolled by, I'll return from the sky with nothing to lose. I'm yesterday's news. Can you keep a secret and play a part in this charade. The letters said they will be sneaking through the back door. No ticker tape, no big parade. Just a change of identity. Then we'll have a happy ever after. Destination unknown. When the tears have all gone, our love will shine on. After I'm yesterday's news, when the years have rolled by, I'll return from the sky with nothing to lose. I'm yesterday's news.